So I remember years ago, barefoot running was really, really popular. It was kind of a trend, or at least like lots of people were talking about it at the time. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that are still really into it now, but just at the time, in my perception, it felt like everyone was talking about it. And so of course I bought into it. I started doing a lot of barefoot running because I kind of liked running anyway, or at least I liked biking a lot. And I was starting to kind of not like the idea of being dependent on this piece of equipment in order to get anywhere reasonably. It's like if my bike were to break or something, or if I'm in any sort of emergency situation where I need to go a long distance without any assistance, I want to be capable of doing that. And so I started running a lot. And because everyone was talking about barefoot running, I was like, okay, I'll start barefoot running. I even got those like Vibram like toed shoes. It's basically a rubber sock with like zero support. So it's kind of like running barefoot, but you avoid the blisters or stepping on stones or glass, which I've actually luckily never had. The glass part, I've stepped on plenty of stones. Or mulch. Basically, it was just really popular and a lot of people were talking about it, and all their explanations of why it's good for you make sense. And it wasn't until after many years of this that I discovered the downsides, the cons of it. Everything has a pro and a con. And if someone's only telling you one side of the story, it is your responsibility to question that and be like, well, what's the downside? What is the possible repercussions of this? Is this actually good for me? Or is it only good for a certain type of people? And so why do people recommend barefoot running in the first place? It's really good for anyone with really weak feet or with flat arches, which is basically the same. If your foot is flat, it's because these muscles are weak. If you run barefoot and strengthen those muscles, it'll just kind of tense up and raise your arch and give you like an actual arch to your foot. It is a fixable problem. I've been told it's a painful process to go through, but it's supposedly less pain than the back pain and all the other stuff that flat feet will give you. But I didn't have flat arches, I had normal arches. And so doing a lot of barefoot running strengthened my arches and gave me high arches. Now, on first thought, it's like, wouldn't that be a good thing? Like, flat feet is obviously bad because it gives you like back pain and all that kind of stuff. So wouldn't you just think like the higher the arch, the better? Kind of, but no. So many years later, after many years of barefoot running, I had mentioned to my doctor, just kind of on a whim, I didn't really think of this as a problem, I just kind of, it was something weird and interesting. I mentioned to him how if I squeeze my foot, like pull my toes in, I can give myself a foot cramp anytime I want, and it'll just seize up and stay like that, and then I have to like squeeze the muscles on the top of my feet to pull my toes up and like undo the cramp. And he was like, oh, that's really not good. And I was like, well, oh, okay, what do you mean? I didn't think this was a problem. I was just mentioning it because it's like, oh, that's weird. And so he looked at my feet and he's like, man, your arches are really high. I was like, oh, okay. That's good, right? He's like, no. Apparently, if your feet get too strong, the muscle can tear the tendon and just rip itself right off the bone. Ugh. And I really don't want that, because your muscles can get stronger a lot faster than your tendons and your cartilage and your joints and your bones and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of stopped barefoot running for a long time. I just didn't do it anymore. I even kind of stopped running for a long time. But years after that point, my feet were still having this problem where they were just kind of like achy all the time. And like, I got some meaty feet. The bottoms of my feet are like, there's muscle there. And the top of my foot, you basically just feel like, it feels like the top of my hand. You can feel like the little tendon and the bones and stuff. But the bottom, it's like, there's some meat there. And I tried drinking lots of water. I tried eating lots of bananas. None of that helped. My feet were actually just too strong. Or more so, too strong relative to the top of my feet and to like the bones and cartilage and ligaments and all that stuff. So if barefoot running or running with shoes with very little to no support in them helps you strengthen your foot, then I needed to do the opposite. I needed really tight shoes with a insert in them to like force my foot to relax, to allow the shoe to do the work, to take the impact rather than my muscles in my foot. And so that's what I did. Eventually I went to like a proper foot place where you stand on the machine and it like scans your feet and tells you which insert you need, and I got them. I got like the nice shoes shoes and I put the inserts in them and like laced them up real tight every day, and my feet feel significantly better than they used to, actually. They're still far from perfect though. And that's probably because I still wear sandals a lot in the summer. I'm still barefoot anytime I'm like not out in public, if I'm just here at home. And also, I've just discovered that my right foot is significantly less flexible than my left foot. And that probably has something to do with work, the way I move when I'm at work. I noticed that whenever I'm like using my foot to push a door open or to like move a cart or just generally anything, I'm always, which way was it? I don't remember. I'm always bracing with one side and using the other side, and that causes like an imbalance and like knee pain. Or like anytime I've got a really heavy cart that I'm pushing pretty quick and I'm like trying to quick come to a stop, I always use the same leg. The same way that like if you're getting ready to like race someone, everyone has one foot that just feels natural to put in front of the other, and if you do it the other way around, it just feels weird. It's that type of thing, but I'm doing it all day with all kinds of movements and just slowly, cumulatively creating these imbalances. And I think as far as the long-term effects, I think that is one of the best aspects of being like even slightly into fitness, is you begin to notice these things about your body and you can kind of correct them or at least counteract them in your fitness or in your workouts to counteract what you're doing on a day-to-day basis in order to prevent what could be some serious long-term pain that I would experience decades later as the result of this imbalance. So to finish this off, I think I'll just show you what I mean with my feet. So there you are on the floor. Now when I go to stretch my calf and I'm leaning up against my desk here, you can see I'm keeping the ball of my foot and my heel on the ground, and then I can just lean into it. I can put this here to help keep the heel down and apply a little bit more pressure into the calf. And then same thing with the right foot. How I noticed that my right foot was significantly less flexible is that I could never keep traction with my right foot. When I put pressure onto the left foot, it stays. I'm putting as much pressure as I can into it right now, and it's staying. When I do my right foot, and notice I'm keeping them lined up. I'm putting it in the exact same position basically, and I put that same amount of pressure in, it slips every time. I cannot keep it on the floor. This has been a problem for like almost a week now, and I've been trying to figure out like, why does this happen? And then I figured it out. If I go like this, and in the same way I keep my toes and the ball of my feet on the ground, the same way I was with the ball of my foot and my heel, now I flip it to here, and I'm stretching this part. I'm stretching the bottom of my foot. The left foot here is totally fine. I can go like right about there before the ball of my foot starts coming up, and then I can go like this to help keep it down. If I do my right foot, oh, and by the way, that was totally comfortable with the left foot. That felt fine. But if I do the right foot, I can go about, right about there. That's it. And it hurts bad. So if I try to lean into it more, this is where the ball, you probably can't see it because you're on the other side. The ball of my foot is starting to come up now, and I gotta like put this down. It hurts really, really bad. I can't do it. It is significantly less flexible than the other side, and that's the problem. And so as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been really trying to stretch my hamstrings and get more flexible there, but now I've also been really trying to focus on the bottom of my right foot. And so I'll start off my stretching routine by doing hamstrings, left calf, right calf, left foot, right foot, and it'll be like, well, the left foot felt fine. It clearly doesn't need a stretch because I need to stretch just the right foot in order to correct the imbalance. So then I'll do hamstrings, left calf, right foot. And it's like, well, the right calf, I can't even get a good stretch in because the right foot is so stiff. It's so cramped. It's almost like it's got a small cramp at all times. So it's like, well, I might as well skip the right calf because I just can't even get a good stretch in. And then I'm not going to do just the left calf because then I'm going to create an imbalance there. So then it becomes just hamstring, right foot, alternating the two. And that has become my new daily like stretching routine. I really don't know what I'm doing. Like at all. I'm just kind of experimenting with it and figuring it out. I've found that holding a stretch for like 4 minutes is ineffective because you can't even keep the tension in for that long. You just kind of slowly relax and then you like realize after like 45 seconds that, oh no, I'm not even keeping tension in, I'm not even stretching it. So then you'll put more pressure back in, and then eventually like after a couple minutes you'll forget. and just like slowly start letting off the tension, and then like 45 more seconds later you'll realize, ah shoot, I wasn't doing it. I don't know exactly how long is a good duration to stretch for, but I know that 4 to 5 minutes and above is not worth doing. And I also know that like 30 seconds and less is also not really worth doing, because it takes a little time to slowly ease into the stretch and start building up to that point of like maximum tension that you can comfortably handle. And just as you're starting to reach that point, then the timer goes off and it's like, no, I've just gotten to where I'm actually starting to stretch now. I would like to stay in this position and just stretch for a little bit longer. I would say at this point, just from my own experience, not having any idea of what anyone actually recommends, I would say the ideal stretching duration would be like between 1 and 4 minutes, something like that. I don't know. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hopefully I can actually say more instead of just stumbling over all of my words all the time. Maybe if I flex out or stretch out my foot a little bit more, then I will stop stumbling. Can I stretch my tongue? How do I stretch my tongue? Maybe then I can speak a little bit more clearly, enunciate a bit better. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe for more comments. Okay, take care. Bye.